light lords, and grand rising to those who have not yet awoken. To know that space and time is just a product of the mind, and your life is created by the subsequent moments in your life, created by the mind. Today, I'm going to be talking about taking control of your MINDLine, or your lifetime, your timeline, because time is the mind. When we got here, when you got here, when we got here, when I got here, we got here for a specific reason. We didn't know what that reason was. We weren't thinking of a purpose. We were naturally and instinctively, intuitively acting out our purpose as we became more conscious. Still having a purpose, but not conscious of it. See, when you get a soul, which you always have, you get a specific time for each thing that soul needs to learn, for each thing that soul needs to experience, based on the mind, based on the quality, based on the frequency of that soul, based on how that soul wishes to maneuver through itself, through its subconscious mind. There is an oversoul, an infinite presence, an infinite knowing, an infinite being. And then there are souls, smaller versions of this all-knowing, infinite, ever-present being. All minimalized and concentrated, concrete, finite beings. All minimalized and placed into concentrated forms, which we call minds. Each mind has a conscious and unconscious existence. This existence is to absorb, break down, investigate, and rebuild information. Your existence here is to take in, reformat, and push out information. But based on your mind and the way you think is how well you can take in, reformat, and push out information. Based on your type of thinking, the way you think, your mind state, is how you perceive the space-time continuum. People talk about the age of Aquarius. People talk about the age of Pisces, but don't understand time, don't understand space, don't understand the laws of physics, the quantum reality, the quantum realm, and how time works, how the mind works. All of these astrological ages exist at one time. You could say that there is no time, and it's all predicated upon the mind state of the individual, or the soul, or the spirit of a person, or the spirit of the thing that has the spirit. But time is just created by the electromagnetic field within and around the being that consciously uses his mind. See, the things we have in today's time publicly, it's only because of the mind states that the common individual has. It's only because of the state of the collective consciousness. If the collective consciousness wanted the age of Aquarius to already be here, then it would be. If the collective consciousness wanted the age of Aries to already be here, to come here again in this moment, then it would be. If the collective consciousness wanted to expand its awareness to the point where it could bring in these subtle dimensions and subtle energies, into concrete physical form at any point in time, then it would be. But many don't see themselves as important enough or great enough to manipulate their reality with their minds. Many are not conscious of how they're already manipulating their reality with their minds, so they do not take control of their mind line. They do not take control of their time. They do not take control of their space. Jesus Christ, aka JAH MASHIAC, my brother, he says, "Ye are gods. Ye are gods. Ye are gods." And it is his Father's business. It is his business to do his Father's will. It is Yahshua HaMashiach's. It is the Christ's. It is the Christ's business to do the will of the law of nature, to comply with the will of the law of nature, which is by teaching and learning, by learning higher and higher wisdom, by learning higher and higher, more and more information, and teaching others, applying the information to your life, and getting the wisdom from it, and then teaching others. That is the duty of the Christ. And he spoke to the scribes and the Pharisees and told them that ye are gods. Scribes are people that write. Scribes are people that take note and write. They make scriptures. They make laws. They write down things for concrete observance. And the Pharisees were people that see that oversee the laws. The councils and the people that enforce the laws. He says, ye are gods, because the scribes are the ones that create through their art. They create through their penmanship. They create realities. And the Pharisees are the ones that play out what was written, that make sure that that law that is written down is laid out. Make sure that people follow it so that those realities can be created. The Christ says, ye are gods, which means you are nothing. You are nothing but the divine energy, the divine presence. Just separated. You're just separated from one another. Though you are unified in this objective point. You are unified because you are all using your minds to create the reality that you see. He told them, ye are gods, and they did not understand because they created laws and enforced those laws against the Father, which are the laws of nature, which is the being, the infinite being. They did not look. They did not see. They weren't conscious of the infinity within themselves. These people, these scribes and Pharisees of Jesus Christ's day, Yahshua HaMashiach's day, they were not conscious of the infinity, of the agelessness of themselves. They were not conscious of the space-time spiral, the space-time continuum. They were only conscious of the finite. They were only conscious of what is short-term or what is just conscious. They were not conscious of the unconscious. They were not conscious of the subconscious. Jesus Christ says ye are gods, and he still says it. Yahshua HaMashiach, the Christ. The Christ always says ye are gods. And the Christ always returns. Even if it leaves, it always returns. Because energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one state to the next. You must begin to take control of your MINDLine, collective consciousness. Collective consciousness, once you start to stop seeing things as, oh, this is the future, and start seeing things that you see as the future as now, then those things which you desire will come to you now, instead of waiting for you in some future. Instead of waiting for you in some uncertainty. All of the things that you wish for and desire is at hand. This is the word. This is the true word of Christ, the true word of God. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is literally at hand. It's at your hand. It's at your will. It's around you all of the time. You are just not conscious of it, and that's why you're in hell. That's why people are in hell. That's why when you transform through the death state, through transformation, or what people call death, that people see hell, because once you go there, you have to deal with the subtle things that you have to deal with the things that were subtle when you were in this realm up front. You have to deal with those things. Deal with them now. You take information from the past to create now. And now is the future. People keep saying the age of Aquarius is coming or the age of Aquarius is here. I say all of it's here. And you choose which age you wish to be in. You choose which age. So collective consciousness, choose. It's all up to you. It's all up to everyone. But to the individual, it first starts with you. Because there was an experiment done. About, I want to say, 18 years ago, about 20 years ago. There was a monkey experiment. The monkeys on an island. You can go research it yourself. Some monkeys on an island. They taught one monkey something, and then the monkeys, the next day, monkeys on a whole nother island on the other side of the earth that knew the same thing. So it is our duty to learn as much as possible for the greater good of self and teach, so that we will all know and activate our genes. So that we'll all know and activate our genes, our godly genes, the genes that help us manipulate time, the genes that help us manipulate space, and the genes that help us concretely affect our reality and the realities of others for the good and for the betterment of the collective consciousness. This is my duty. I am JAH MASHIAC. I am here to live and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness. The information that I reveal on these videos is not to be taken lightly. It is okay to have fun. It is okay to smile and have higher vibes and energies. But you must take the information that you get very seriously and use it daily to teach yourself first. Because if you do not teach yourself first, then how can you go to someone else and teach them when you have not moved yourself from the situation that you are currently in to a higher platform or to a higher plateau? Take control of your MINDLine. Take control of your time. Take control of your space. Learn more about yourself. Study thyself. Learn more of your nature and your true energies and who you really are. Because Christ says you are God's. Do not separate yourself from your reality. You are your reality. Though you should compartmentalize for more effective manipulation of the energy, which is yourself. Do not separate yourself mentally from your inner and outer environment. This will decrease your effectiveness and your adaptability. But one way, before I leave, one way to notice your effect on the space-time, which is you, is to sit. Do what they call deep meditation. Sit in darkness in a room, in a dim lit room, with your eyes closed in whatever position is most comfortable for you. And sit for as long as possible and stare into your mind's eye. Focus into the darkness. And no matter what thoughts come about, no matter what thoughts surface in your visualization inside of your mind's eye, just focus and allow them to pass, slowly pass. Focus on the darkness. Once you begin to do this, and more often you do this, you will begin to see that you take in more information than you thought. You take in way more information than you could ever think. It is your job to utilize the information that you take in, put it together, and create unity and oneness. You will also see, once you come out of your meditation, how much time has passed. So that will tell you that you need to use the information that you get in those meditations. Connect with nature and connect with yourself. Use the information, apply it to your life. And the more you use the information, the more you create your own timeline. And the more you create your own mind, the more you create your own mind line, the more you manipulate this existence to your benefit and to the benefit of the greater good of humanity and the collective consciousness. This is my tip for today. Practice deep meditation. Study the God that is within you. Do not separate yourself. You must look from these perceptions in order to transcend these realities for your own. Allowing yourself to become the Christ. Die daily. Wake up every day with the intention on doing the highest good for you. And doing this will drive you towards doing the highest good for everyone. I am JAH MASHIAC. I am here to live and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness. I love myself. Peace.